What's up, Jimmy? How's the weather over in Florida, man?
It stinks. It goes back and forth, and stinks is the key word, Michael. Stinks.
Why? So you were saying about that, like what stinks about it?
Well, there's the gradual changes of season in New York,
Right.
which allowed us to, assimilate into the next season,
I like that word,
and and
assimilate.
and you get used to it, especially after half a century. And where I live, it goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So you could be during a certain time of year here be freezing, and then the next week you could be looking at 70 degrees, and then it's back down to 40, and then it's up to it's weird, and I've had a hard time getting used to it.
How do
So
you deal with the warm weather though in Florida? Like, because it gets pretty soupy and hot, right?
yeah, like I said, you wind up stinking. You sweat a lot, you know.
Well, Jimmy, I want to introduce one of our new sponsors, Mando. Can you
Ah,
see that?
yeah,
Mando.
nice.
Mando gives you a whole bunch of product, right? Body washes. Let me see if I can swing that over there, right? We've got here a whole body deodorant, which is good, right? You're at work, you're sweating, I don't know if you have a propensity to smell, dude. I'm not trying to make fun of you. You
Who,
know what I
me?
mean?
Not me. How
Some
about you?
people, not really, dude, because I tell you, well, I will tell you this. We've discussed it before. I get very sticky and very caught up in things. And I
Yeah,
mean, when you spray this body spray on you,
yeah,
boy, oh boy, it makes a huge difference. Now, again, in New York, it's still cold, so I don't necessarily need it all the time. But I could imagine those hot summer Florida months is going to be. This will be
yeah.
your first or second time dealing with that.
Actually, technically, it would be my third.
Really?
Yeah, because I hit the summer 2 years ago. Don't forget, I was here in the summer of 2023. Then there's 2024. Here comes 2025. So I've experienced 3 summers here.
Well, then I bet you wish you had some Mando with you last year.
I need like a crate of Mando because I'm a fando of Mando.
Oh, I love it. Mando's starter pack is a perfect for all you new customers who are asking you to support Long Island's number one pro wrestling broadcast, Monte and the Pharaoh, right? Use the
Easy for you to say.
MATP code. That's
MATT.
MATQ, which is showing on right there on the screen. Use that. Support us. Show Mando they made the right choice in choosing one of the top pro wrestling podcasts or broadcast or television show that you could possibly have. And if you use that code, right, it equals 40% off, Jimmy. 40% off. By
Nice.
my math, that's close
That's
to
pretty good.
half.
Yeah, I'll
It's a,
take
it's a
that.
little less than Conan's math, but
Yeah,
it's almost half. That's
yeah.
40% off when you use MATP as the code, which is on that screen. 40% off. Go to Mando. That's Shop Mando, SHOPMANDO, and get your starter kit. Jimmy, how you can convince all your friends in Florida to order some Mando?
Well, first of all, I'll have to be upfront with them and tell them that they smell funny. And then I will highly recommend Mando because, you got to think before you stink.
With that, I got nothing else to say. Mando.
I'm a fan, though.
Sir,
Ah,
Manscaped.
uh-huh.
Have you tried the new equipment that's been sent?
I'm afraid because it says weed whacker. I'm scared.
Maven, Manscaped. What are you thinking about
Love it.
Manscaped, dude?
Love it.
What do you use it for?
Necessity. What don't I use it for? Put it this way. The only hair I have on my entire body is these eyebrows.
Yeah.
That you see. These
Wow.
caterpillars racing to the middle of my nose. That's it.
That is it.
That's all I have. And that's all I want.
That's the
So
pick.
Manscaped is a
You-
must.
We were talking before the show. There's nothing worse than just hair.
Yeah.
Right? Hair on a woman, hair on a man. It's just bad.
Absolutely. And it's the one thing that the older I get, it starts growing more in unwanted areas.
Absolutely.
I hate it.
I'm going to ask you a question. Just going to go out there.
Oh, boy.
Go for it.
You're doing a deed.
Yes.
Again, I don't want you to have to admit this because we, as men, we try not to admit this. But if you're going to go do the deed on a woman, would you rather have her be hairless or a little hair, racing stripe, or
Racing stripe.
full retro bush?
Racing stripe.
Retro bush is out.
Yes, thank you.
Retro bush is out.
Yeah.
I don't mind a small, well manicured landing strip. Every now and then, if it's completely, and I'm talking like baby's ass bald, then I start. Where is that pedophilia line? I don't want to wander into that.
That's
thought of
very
it like
interesting.
that.
I never thought about that. You're a smart dude. Holy shit.
So if the landing strip is clean enough for the plane to go in smoothly, you're cool with that?
If the landing strip has, like I said, well manicured,
Yeah,
you can see both sides. It's not
Like blinking lights on both sides of that
I
landing?
just don't. I don't want. I don't want the shrubbery going off into unwanted areas on that. As well.
Gotcha. Oh, look what you found. Ooh.
I got to be all honest though. Hey, the older I get though, I don't think I can be as
I found it! I found
have
it!
you ever gone down there and she slowly brings down the underwear? Then
What is it?
retro? Just,
absolutely.
you're like, whoa!
Wow,
Yeah, I'm
like
46,
it
of
pops
course.
out?
Do you like walk out or what do you do?
No, I muster through. I muster up the courage to get
He's
through.
a trooper. He's a trooper. Got to give him an A.
Not all heroes wear capes.
Yeah,
There you go.
I hear you.
There you
Listen,
go.
I couldn't
Super
say.
Bush.
I couldn't say. Well, if you have the same beliefs as Maven, does Manscaped could help you?
Absolutely.
The weed whacker.
Absolutely.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that I may have to, go in a room, close the door, and hang out with the weed whacker for a little while.
Yeah, I think you're a retro guy, aren't you?
I like 70s adult films, if that's what you're getting at.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
but with that,
Ron
we're going to take a
Jeremy,
quick
Batman.
commercial break, and we'll be
Anyway.
back with this wrestling icon, Maven. Whoa, bro. Dude, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
And I'm being serious now.
Yeah.
You think Maven plays for the other team?
Perhaps. Do you see clues?
Could you be any more non-committal, Mr. Jimmy Farrow? I'm asking.
I mean, are you
listen to
seeing
listen to his voice. It's like the inflection in his voice. It's very
like, hi there.
it's a little feminine.
Hi
Would you
there.
think?
Hi there, Michael. Looking mighty good tonight.
Yeah, it's like
I mean,
like when I ask him, I'm like, hey man, when you go down, you pulling the panties down, and, he's like, you gotta muster through. You gotta muster through. Not all heroes wear capes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He likes to walk that tightrope right in between. Is that what you're getting at? Like,
Listen, maybe he plays for both teams. Now at bat, switch hitter.
Wow.
Maven.
Ambidextrous?
Batting lefty tonight. Maven.
Hey, what don't I use it for?
There you go. There you go. Jimmy, I hate fucking doing this show from these fucking rooms. I gotta tell you, I miss being in studio. I cannot deal with this. I can't deal with this fucking house I fucking live in. I hate my house.
Are we Black Sabbath tonight? Is that the bottom line?
Dude, I gotta tell you, I hate my fucking life. I hate being in this fucking room. I hate this fucking house.
Stress.
God, I miss us being in studio, drinking a couple of fucking, whatever we're drinking for that night.
I'm never going to drink again, thanks to you at the last visit.
Well, if you can't control yourself when you're around
No.
ECW legends, that's your problem.
No, it is my problem. I mean, when the Sandman is telling you, like, bro, maybe you shouldn't drive, you're definitely contemplating the meaning
Yeah,
of
you
life.
got problems. You got problems.
I was like, wow, Sandman's telling me this. Wow. And I realized
I've really outdone myself.
well, I realized I'm what I've always been. I'm fucking Lemmy Kilmeister, and name me other legendary musician behaviorship. I'm like, yep, I've done it again.
Jimmy
thanks
has
a lot.
done it again.
Thanks a lot, Mike. You got me to hit my extreme button, and we got ripped that night. And we had a lot of fun, though, didn't we?
Yeah, we had a great time.
Yeah,
But you know why we had a great time? Because we were in studio together, having a good time.
Yeah.
And now we got to fucking shoot from these fucking
back to the
rooms with this fucking.
I like my saloon. You leave me alone.
I guess, I don't know. I kind of, well, you can like whatever you want, dude. You're your own man. I'm just sharing my thoughts.
Look, nothing can replace when we're together in the same room. I completely get that. So
I mean, I have a good time. I have a good time with you now, but it's like it's just like
I got
I'm in this fucking room.
Get me out of this room
with these fucking pictures of these fucking wrestlers. What am I doing? Why did I build this?
Wait a minute, Joe. The kid across the pond gets to say bad things about Hogan from his room. He gets away with it. So what's the big deal?
Dude, wait, you know what? I'll tell you something that's annoying about that.
Did you see that, by the way?
Dude. Okay, first of all.
I mean, oh my God.
Couple of things. Alert time.
Yeah.
I guess Dutch Mantel's not doing well, so
the
kid's going on it on his own. He's like, fuck it, I got to make my money, because I quit my job because I was doing so well. Now I'm on my own, but he's still doing well by himself. But here's what I noticed. You notice, these fucking kids, he wears a shirt and he rolls it up. It's like, give it a fucking break, you puny little fucker. I mean, you know what? I'm an old man now, but when I was your age, son, I'll fucking crush you, you stupid.
Oh, my God. I was actually more just taking pity on him because he's clearly from a mindset of not understanding or caring at all about the positives that Hogan brought to the business. He's just fixed on that one thing and he's going to stay on that. And I guess Hogan should basically apologize forever. It still wouldn't matter if he did. Let's get real here. So that annoyed me. I was like, okay, this is pathetic to me, but whatever.
Dude, he's just, look, man.
In
the world of this podcasting shit, right? He's just a grain of sand. Just like we're dust in the wind, bro. I mean, listen, bro.
It's very true.
For two guys that have been friends our entire life and we decided to do a show, we've done pretty well. We do well on cable. We make a little bit of money. We've had some sponsors. We had a Jim Beam sponsor for 6 figures. We got fucked on, but hey, there you go again. What can I say about that? But in the end, all these guys are dust in the fucking wind.
Right.
You're a kid from fucking England with a stupid Shawn Michaels tattoo. You roll up your sleeves. Hit the juice, kid, if you want to impress someone. I mean, you want to be a podcaster on the juice? I don't know.
Well, getting to your Dust in the Wind, if I can, and I've said his name before, and he has 10,000 times whatever the math is, he's got way more.
Hey, get your numbers straight because someone's going to call you out on it. They're going to do math on you.
What I will say then, here's my official statement on all of this as far as he goes and being a dust in the wind. Okay, Rick Beato has a channel, which I'm quite confident has a lot more subscribers and viewership. Quite confident to say that. When Rick Beato came on one time, he's a brilliant musician, and he basically said, and he has millions of subscribers. He basically discovered through YouTube that he is the 17,000th approximately most successful current, and he has millions of subscribers. And here I am accurate in what I'm saying. And when he realized that he's just a speck, so what you say about the kid across the pond is not only entirely correct. What I say about the kid across the pond, as far as his take on Hogan, is just fixating on one thing and just forgetting everything else. And to me, that's just having what you always call a fucking agenda. Okay? So fuck the kid across the pond.
Dude, here's the thing. Here's the thing.
They all fuck his tattoo.
I've realized now
turn it sideways.
They all want to be in the wrestling business one way or another, and we'll cover it. This is just the way it is. Listen, dude, if you're making yourself a living and you don't have to really work, and this is what you do for a living, you're doing okay. So you could be the 17,000th, you could be the 100,000th, you could be whatever.
It's all 17,000.
It's all well and good.
Pieto's doing well. Yeah.
But let's not get full of ourselves.
Right.
It's a fucking joke.
That's why I like
fucking real.
Pieto is a modest man. He put it up front right away. He was like, he just wanted his audience to know how insanely he found it, that he was 17,000. He goes, because he's had his problems with YouTube too. They've taken down some of his videos.
All right, listen, I've got to reel us in because we're on script here.
I got you.
We've went off script.
We have a blueprint.
That's part of my job. Got to keep us on script. First of all, some serious note, Jimmy. You had a rough couple of weeks, and we want to give a little. Well, I'm gonna turn it over to you, buddy.
All right. During, I don't even know if there'd be a show now if there wasn't music. You know, I started as a musician, and it was in the late '80s, and it pretty much ran for almost 20 years. Where I had the fortunate enough luck to only have two bands. Mike saw the first band, Electric Sunset, and then there was the second band, which Mike, I think, just put up the CD, was War Dance. Both bands were very special, and both bands were considered critically, for whatever it's worth, in Long Island. We were considered the top. But War Dance really, really did some great things together. And in that band was my bassist, George Von End, who, ironically, Mike, when you came to see Electric Sunset, the Wizard of Electric Sunset was the guitarist Bobby Sexton. Bobby Sexton went to school with George Von End. I didn't know these people at the time. I'm going to school with you. Understood? You know what I mean? I didn't know these guys. These guys were from Hop Hog. And it turns out that George Von End, who became my bass player, was Bobby Sexton's first guitar teacher, technically. He taught Bobby how to play his first riffs, and Bobby turned into a Jimmy Page level type player. You saw it for yourself. The guy was a great, great guitarist. So when War Dance formed, after years of the Electric Sunset, George Von End, there he was. He was in my band. He was one of the few people who, for decades, I was able to talk to always. He was one of my closest friends when it comes to music. In all the projects I've been in, outside of Bart, who's obviously my closest buddy, especially with music, and how long we've worked together, it was George. And out of nowhere, when I was at work, I recently discovered Bobby Sexton, ironically, who George taught the very first guitar riff to, called me on Messenger or whatever, and Facebook, and said, "Did you hear about George?" War Dance had two Georges. The drummer was George Diefenbach, who came with George, and they had played together for years. They were a very tight unit. War Dance was a very tight band, and Mike, I was the only screwball. Everybody else was clean and sober, which I happen to love. Everybody was pretty level-headed, and George was the most level-headed of all. He would usually get us the best gigs. He was a large guy in great health, no excessive anything. And I found out that it was he who passed away, and he was only 59 years old. He was one of my best friends. And we did a lot together. We did. When News 12 is calling you in, and you know News 12 is worth something, there's millions of people that live on Long Island, Mike. Let's face it. It's New York. You know, when News 12 is calling you in and you're winning awards from, you know, the top magazines and stuff, you've shared something together. And we always stayed in touch. And I can't think of a better person as far as lived the right way. Mike, you would have been impressed with him. He's a big guy. You know, he stayed in shape. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense at all. And rest in peace, George Von End. You know, he's just a great human being. And I loved playing with him, and I loved being his friend. And he's gone.
Well done, Jimmy. Rest in peace, George. I know personally how it affected you, man. So,
yeah.
God bless. Also, if anyone doesn't know, Jimmy and I started this show at a place called Village Connection Radio. The owner of Village Connection at the time, I don't know if he owned it at the time of his demise, but Jim Savali owned Village Connection Radio. He was a little bit of a man about town in Huntington, New York, which is in Jimmy and I's area in New York. Jim passed away earlier this week. Jimmy Pharaoh's the one who told me about this. And, basically the story is when we first got into this, Jim Savali contacted myself and had heard me and Jimmy on somebody else's radio show. Again, this is really kind of before podcasting was a big deal. And Jimmy and I are older, and we thought radio, right? We thought radio. And anyway, this guy owns a station. He invites us on, and I'm always respectful of the origins of life. I think you always have to respect the origins, no matter how they turn out or how the road turns left or turns right on you. I think you always should give props to people that got you to a level. So if it wasn't for Village Connection, who knows where Monte The Pharaoh goes, and we moved on after Village Connection. And we also want to say rest in peace to Jim Savali. Again, a young man gone too soon, and we only wish the best for his family. All right, so that's that. Covered very well, Jimmy, last week. Got a lot to cover here. Had a little angry Rob Van Dam last week. What were your thoughts on that interview last week with Rob Van Dam?
Rightfully pissed off. Rightfully pissed off again with my gut read on a person that I never got a good gut read from. Let him have it. Is probably going to continue to let him have it. Pretty damn cool that we saw him at the Rumble, 2 days after our interview, right, Mike?
Well, I got to laugh, Jimmy. He writes me to ask me questions about things. And I go, dude, you're at the Rumble. Take it easy, will you? Just just enjoy yourself at the Rumble. Worry about Dylan Hines and his father afterwards. You know what I'm saying? It's like, really? But Here's the funny thing.
Okay.
So before we did last week's show, if anyone doesn't know who Dylan Hines is an agent or a vendor that brings in wrestlers for signings and little events and things like that. And Dylan Hines had problems with quite a few wrestlers, Rob Van Dam being one of them. And Rob Van Dam claims that Dylan Hines and his father, Bobby Fulton, did not pay him for his appearances. So basically, Dylan Hines decided he was starting to go on podcast and blast Rob Van Dam and other wrestlers like Sabu and Matt Riddle, shit like that. Interesting enough, after the Monte The Pharaoh show, looks like Dylan Hines has had a change of thought. Jimmy, I'd love you to weigh in on this one.
All right. You better read it to me. I can't see it.
I'm going to try to blow it up for you right now.
Jesus.
Rob, this is Dylan Hines. I'm writing you over several things. First of all, I was led to believe that my father did not screw you over on those 2 dates. And now, after doing my own digging, I've realized he is a con man. I'm going to stop there, Jimmy. What kind of son rolls their own father? But before I go further, I did make a huge mistake last week, everybody who's watching. I did have to ask Rob Van Dam, is Dylan Hines really Bobby Fulton's father? Because from what I understand, that is Dylan Hines is really Tommy Rogers' son, and that's been told to me. Again, I know nothing. I'm just a fan. And that when Tommy Rogers had passed, Bobby Fulton was man enough to take and raise his son. Don't know how true it is, but didn't get to ask that question. So back to you, Jimmy. What kind of son turns on their father?
That's the problem, is the pattern. What has the pattern been, Mike? The pattern has been for the kid to do fucking something stupid and wrong, and for the parent to constantly apologize for him, even if the kid is wrong 1,000%. That has been the pattern. So what has the son become? Well, what do you think I'm suggesting the son has possibly become? Spoiled? And his father is now a deranged yes man. Yes, man. So far, that's what I get. It seems to me like the kid feels comfortable putting his father in these spots. Let's go to the point of origin.
Who does that, Jimmy? Again, it's craziness.
Well, I guess RVD calls him Dildo Hines, right?
Well, he did a second off where he asked Rob, hey, and by the way, this is Rob's email. It was sent to me, obviously by somebody, right, by the name of RVD. But anyway, third off, I've asked him no longer to promote events. He's absolutely refusing. And we go, when he goes to do it, I will not be involved. Fourth off, I was a yes man. You must have read this. Did you read that?
No, I can't see it.
Wow, pretty good, dude.
I'm telling you what I feel.
Which was wrong.
I feel,
Okay, I'm going to say this.
Go ahead.
No matter what heat you're under, you got to live by the heat. You can't call Rob Van Dam a liar. You can't call Rob Van Dam's girlfriend, he didn't use the word whore, but he came real close, right? And then all of a sudden, when the heat becomes too much because Rob Van Dam goes on Long Island's #1 pro wrestler broadcast, all of a sudden you feel the heat and you turn on your own father. What does that say about Dylan Hines?
Well, to me, it says what Ace Frehley wrote. Shock me? Nope, that doesn't shock me. I'm not surprised in the least. This is consistent with character. That character is fractured. Dude, let's pretend he's a character, because that's basically what he is, whether he wants to be or not. He's a walking, talking character, Dildo Hines. All right? That character is broken. That character can't think straight.
He's also went on Facebook and social media to say he is deactivating his account, and he's no longer involved in wrestling.
Again, you know how many times I've read that? You know how many times that's happened? You know that, right?
Dude.
It's a pattern.
Dude, you go on podcasts, you trash. When the heat gets too much, you start writing apology emails asking, after you trash the guy. You've been accused of taking someone's life, right? Your father's been accused of a million things. I don't know, dude. Let me tell you, I'm going to go back. Dude, I'm going to go back into this, how sick and tired I am of these fucking people. You know what? If you do something, stand by it. Be a fucking man, right? Whatever I say, I believe in, and I will stand for it. Be a fucking man. But hold on, though. Here's a little something else. Let's see what we got here, buddy. Hold on. So for the event, let me move this over. I don't need to read this. They've got this individual. This is Freya the Slayer from OVW. We had J-Rod from OVW, right?
Yeah. She's
coming to Ohio on Saturday, March 8th, right? This is from Jimmy Hines. So are we to believe that Bobby Fulton, Jimmy Hines, did this post himself, or do we believe that Dylan Hines did it for him?
I could see that.
And here's the other thing. I am telling Freya the Slayer, stay away. Stay away from the Hines crime family. Do not make the mistake. I don't care that they say they're going to pay you. You're from OVW. They're going to rip you to fuck off and then say, who are you? They've already run themselves into problems with major players in the pro wrestling industry. You're gonna go down there? I'm telling you. I think we got to make a call to J-Rod. What do you think, Jimmy?
You know what I think? I think a step further. I agree with you. Is there a way for you to get in contact with Al Snow? Because he was on the show, and I know there's probably a way to get to him. I feel that if Al Snow, the Al Snow I think we know, if Al Snow is made aware, which he may not be, let's be serious, he may not be aware of what they're doing. Maybe if you can reach out to Al Snow, whatever channel you use to get through to Al,
sure,
and do that, I bet you Al, if he's made aware, I'm pretty confident.
But to be honest though, Jimmy, this is not my personal battle with Dylan Hines and Bobby Fulton. I could give a shit less. I could care less. You know what I mean? We had our dealings with Dylan Hines. You've said clearly to me off air you didn't like the fucking guy. I don't really want him on a channel. Of course, Monty makes his usual mistakes and he learns from his mistakes.
No,
you know what I mean?
No, those were not mistakes. Those were not mistakes because we did get Abdullah, and we give everybody their chance to have their say. So that's not our mistake. You're allowed to make your perceived mistakes. I understand. You're hard on yourself, just like I'm hard on myself. But
all I'm saying is, if you're going to do these guys shows, buyer beware. Buyer beware. You're going to get fucked. Yes. And you know what?
Yes.
Monte The Pharaoh we got fucked out of $120,000.
Oh, you stop reminding me, dude.
Well, because I want to explain to people if people say, "Why do you care?" Well, because we got fucked out of $120K.
Not to mention the, you know what? Well, not to mention the YouTube ramage of the first cancellation because somebody said something politically that is the interviewee's point of view, not the people interviewing them. Not to hammer that home, but yeah, we've been through a lot of garbage. So, it's not a mistake. It's not a mistake to give somebody their forum. It's not a mistake to give Lee Cole the trampoline known as Monte and the Pharaoh to fucking use. It's not a mistake. We gave somebody.
By the way, Lee Cole's up to 40-something thousand subsibers. Let me tell you a little something. Let me tell you another secret out there. If you believe half the shit, if you think I believe half the subscribers people have, it's a bunch of bullshit. It's like people rather have this false fucking set of themselves. I could care less. It's like, you go braggadocious. I have this many subscribers. You know what? All you have to do is the math. The math is always ever relevant in all these situations. So, again, I could care less. Run around, say you got this, say you got that. Who the fuck cares? Joe Goodhart, man, let's talk about that. That interview it was really good in my opinion, but kind of got shuffled behind the RVD interview. What are your thoughts on Joe Goodhart? Fantastic guest, in my opinion.
One of those hidden gems. We talk about other people in the business that, are not a Scott Hall or not a Hulk Hogan or not a whoever and then there's a guy like Joe Goodhart, who is just a walking encyclopedia. And you go back to point of origin, just like, our early days was a point of origin. We had a lot of great memories in that studio. Joe Goodhart is the point of origin for extreme hardcore wrestling. And he had so much knowledge. I felt like I was talking to a historian who wasn't annoying, because we've seen annoying historians, haven't we, Mike?
Oh, yeah. Plenty of them. Plenty of them.
The
one thing I was very impressed about Goodhart is he admitted that, and I hate to use the word, he admitted he was like a mark. He spent his own money because he loved the industry so much, And listen, dude, when someone loves something that much, you can only be impressed by it, and it even makes you more angry that there's scumbags like Hines running around ripping people off, right?
Right.
That fucking. But anyway. What an honor to have Goodhart on. Last week was off the hook. 2 great interviews. Jimmy.
Yeah.
Mia Khalifa.
What now? What about her now?
Nothing. I just wanted to show you this picture. Ask you what you thought.
Oh, I was thinking that she had opened up her big mouth again.
No, but look at that outfit, dude.
Okay. What's there to not see? Besides everything.
Well, but I don't know. I can't show my cursor here, but maybe I could blow this fucker up.
Would you take that?
Look at these things, dude.
Did you take that in the bathroom with you? What are you getting at?
No, dude. Don't they look a bit lopsided?
Oh, you're asking me about alignment.
Yes.
Okay, hold on.
No, wait. By the way, good-looking girl.
Yeah, misaligned.
Good-looking girl, misaligned.
Yeah, but do you think it's the pose that causes the misalignment, or do they just sag if you go to the right or the left? What is it?
I'll tell you what, dude. Those fucking things are huge, though. Those got their own address. Those things, man.
Zip code?
They got their own zip code. What the one on the left isn't? The one on the left is 3 zip codes away from the one on the right.
That's Trenton and that's Patterson, Jersey.
That's good shit, dude.
Yeah.
Would you kick her? Would you kick her out of bed?
What?
Would you kick her? You're not.
Would
You
you?
gotta make believe you're not married, right?
Oh yeah, sure. Make believe, right?
Well, I'm gonna.
Get a fucking foot up my ass. Yeah,
Let me
go
ask
ahead.
you. Let me ask you this:
Keep make believing. Go on.
knowing how she feels about the United
Yeah.
States, right? Being that she made all her money here, right? You know, would you? Right.
Are you asking me? Do I get philosophical if I'm single? And how old am I, by the way? How old am I?
You're now 57,
Oh,
56.
stop it! Now I'd be like, fuck that bitch. Get the fuck out of here.
How about at 20?
At 20, forget about it. A flea with like a diapers looks good.
I know you ain't kidding. Oh man. Well,
What?
What are you gonna
Something
do?
I said? That's
No, nothing you said at all.
It is what it is.
This week on
I like where I
Busted
am.
Open
Thank you very
After
much.
Dark. I got to tell you, Jimmy.
Okay,
You know,
we
I'm
got
not a
these guys.
fan. I'm not a fan of Bully Ray.
Boy, this
Not
show
a
is
fan.
loaded tonight, Mike. You came packing. Go on.
Not a fan, but what a great interview he did with The Undertaker.
I've only seen shorts. Go on. Tell me more.
Well,
and yeah, it looks awesome on the surface. What I've seen looks pretty damn cool.
I'm gonna say this to you.
Okay.
If you watched or you listened to the whole interview,
all right,
you realize that if you're doing this, right, no matter how popular you are, right?
Okay. What is this?
The podcasting, interviewing, the shit that we do, other people do.
All right.
You're never gonna ever be taken seriously like they take each other seriously. That boys' club, it's like you'll never be in. So if you ever think you're in, you know what Rob Van Dam said last week that Dylan kept saying to him, "Are you my friend? Are you my friend?"
Right.
You'll never be in. So for podcasters out there that interview these wrestlers or whatever, interview athletes, but we're talking about the wrestling world, right? It was never more evident that these guys, unless you're in the business and you're wrestling, and I'm talking in the business, they play the games like, oh, if you're an indie guy, we show you respect. No, bullshit. If you're in the WWE or you in a WWE or WCW or NWA, they treat each other with respect, and no matter how hard anybody tries,
and even then, that's not a and even then, that's not a guarantee that they treat each other with respect.
That's true.
Honestly, what we do, and you know that this is 100% true when it's coming from me. When I say this, I don't ever expect to be in the business as one, and I could never be one of the boys. And I even completely have the nerve to get it that that's their relationship with each other.
Well, can I ask you this though?
They have every right to that.
But wait a minute,
that's their right.
In order to get respect, you got to give respect, right?
I'm following. Go ahead.
So if they really don't respect you, look. I've seen you across the table. You're always complimentary. You love the sport. You respect what they've done. You respect what they've done for you in your childhood and beyond. Yeah. Right?
That's
but
true.
In reality, they don't fucking respect anybody.
Most of them don't. I think there's still exceptions, but they're very few.
How does that make you feel?
There are very few. It makes me feel like shit because as a fan, if you're asking me, how I felt about professional wrestling as a fan before we got involved in doing what we do, it was still that childhood thing. There was like this fondness and wonderment about it and always fascinated with it. And I didn't know these people or get to see these people personally. And over the years, we have seen, if you look in our library, hundreds of these people. And sadly enough, most of them, have a problem with each other, have done something stupid, have acted stupid. Look, wrestlers are entitled to feel that way about each other. I get all of that. But to disregard the fan, that's bullshit.
Well, let me bring it one step further since we're talking about the Bully Ray Undertaker thing, right? So right? We've discussed how Bully Ray gets mad when people talk about, using, wrestling terminology and blah,
that's
blah, blah.
bullshit.
And then how dare a fan critique a wrestling match? You don't know shit about it.
Right.
So now I'm going to play this. This is from Busted Open Radio. And I'm going to start this conversation by saying, you, and this is not to Bully Ray this time, this is that fucking can of paint Tommy Dreamer. Tommy Dreamer, who thinks he actually did anything, he's a fucking idiot. He sucks. He's fucking lucky. He's a lucky son of a bitch. But here's the thing. You sit there and you fucking complain about fans. This is the shit we get the other day. And you don't tell me I shouldn't be offended. I want everybody to listen. Jimmy, I want you to weigh in.
But really quickly, think of all the things. Real quick, think of all the things Jesus has accomplished. And the favorite day of his life was being on stage with Bully and I at the Jericho Cruise.
Walking on water, parting the Red Sea.
I mean,
let me meet Bubba and Dave.
You too.
False prophet.
Hey, listen, I can tell a joke, but I'm also good at handing them off too, bro, right?
And it was Moses that parted the Red Sea, not Jesus. Tommy.
Oh, really?
Yes, actually, yeah, that's true. He walked on water. He didn't part disease.
He fed
He walked
fishes.
on water.
I can't believe.
Yes.
He slept
Brother,
with
I
fishes.
can't believe you just. I just can't believe that I just gave a perfect handoff.
That's right.
And this guy just fumbled the ball. Like I've never.
I got
you just said that
50%
Jesus
off.
Parted the. Tommy, Jesus parting the Red Sea.
He's a false prophet, like the guy who split
Oh
the
my God!
part of the Red Sea.
Tommy.
How did I come into this conversation again? Oh my.
Hey,
We're
Now you
talking
can read the
religion
Bible like that.
immediately. Bust it open. We're talking religion, guys. Next up is politics. Oh my
Catholic
God.
grammar school, high school, and college. And I forgot that big one. Sorry about this.
Thank you guys for having me on today. It's an honor and a pleasure as always.
What do you think, Jimmy?
Well, he obviously doesn't realize that some people have a very strong faith in the Old Testament and the New Testament. I'm going to answer this, oddly enough, as my days as a youth minister and an elder in the church. Not realizing who parts the Red Sea and not realizing, look, you don't have to believe. I'm not asking him to believe. But basically calling Jesus of Nazareth a false prophet is spitting unnecessarily for the sake of a joke. And by the way, a very in bad taste joke. Everything that Jesus stood for and died for is to be respected, whether you believe in it or not. And I have never cracked any kind of religious joke towards any religion because there are things that are out of bounds. And the can of paint looks like it rolled off the top of the house and hit the pavement and rolled to the fence because that's over the fence, rude and annoying and wrong on so many different levels. So not respecting the Judaism of Jesus and the lineage that is clearly drawn out in the genealogies of the Bible, believe it whether you want to or not. But lay off those who do believe and don't use it as a very, very tasteless joke.
Well, I kind of feel like, you know what, you get offended over wrestling.
Sorry.
You get offended over wrestling, but you think it's okay to make. Look, here's the thing. Everything was okay
That's
with
ironic.
me.
That's a great
Everything,
point, by the way.
it is ironic, and it's a joke, but everything
Double
was
standard.
okay with me to the
That's
point you started saying he was a false prophet.
Yeah.
Now you are insulting
Yeah.
my religion,
Yeah.
other people's religion,
Mm-hmm.
and again, you've already been called on the carpet for your insensitive comments about a woman who had psychological problems after Ric Flair put his dick on her.
Right.
And you thought it was okay.